What's up and welcome guys! Hearthstone just announced the teaser for patch 26.2 that's gonna come out on Thursday, and we can see there are a lot of new changes coming to BGs. We can see some nice buffs coming in the game. They're buffing ETC, which is the buddy hero, and they're also gonna buff most of the elemental cards, because at the moment elementals are by far the worst tribe in the game. They're also buffing Pufferquill, which makes total sense when you compare Pufferquill to the 2/7 tier 4 Murloc that has Venomous already. It doesn't make any sense that Pufferquill exists in the game. And they are also buffing Zap, which is kinda wild, but I guess they're doing it to try and keep in check Beast. When it comes to the nerf, we see mainly nerfs for Banana Slamacomb, Dragons, and ATM Pirates. Other than that, they're nerfing some powerful early game tools. And then at the bottom we have some reworks for Upbeat Duo, Rattler, the new Dragon Battlecry, and I guess Mako is returning into the minion pool. Now let's look at the numbers, and we'll also try to make some prediction on what the changes are gonna be. So as you can see here, we have the early game cards with the highest play impact from turn 1 to turn 5. So these are basically all the best early game cards in the game. The best one by far is Low Flyer, which is getting nerfed, Riff Reaper, Scarfin, Upbeat Front Rake, and Radio Star. And these 5 are all getting nerfed, because they're just way better than anything else. You see Twilight Emissary here as well, but this is just because it's really good with a low flyer. You may be surprised not to see the Monkey in here, but Monkey is actually not very good in the early game. It gets really good later once you combo it with Mama Bear and other synergies. On the other hand, when we take a look at the worst early game minions, the Elementals immediately show up at the top. We have Flourishing Frostling being by far the worst play impact card, followed by Molten Rock. And it's not very close, right? Then we have Crackling Cyclone, which is another elemental. And it's not even a bad card, but because the elemental tribe is so bad, it is just here. That's pretty sad. But yeah, you get the idea. Then when we look at turn 7 to 9, we can see that Mama Bear is by far the best late game and mid game option, followed by Kali and Nadina. And these are all getting addressed. Keep in mind, this data is pulled from top 20% of player, which is 3.7k plus. Obviously, it's the start of the season, we don't have too much data, but this is obviously the best data we have at the moment. Blizzard probably has better data than this. Once again, as you can see, Banana Slamma is not as high, but it gets better once you have the synergies. Similarly to the early game situation, when we look at the worst win rate cards in the mid game and late game, immediately all the elementals show up. We have Rock, terrible play impact and terrible combat win rate. Dancing Barnstormer, same situation. Then we have Brim Counter, but that's because you don't really want to play this card. You're supposed to just hold it in your hand. If you play this, it means that you're already in a really bad spot. And then Ghastly Trumpeteer, and then more elemental cards. So with this knowledge in mind, it makes a lot of sense that they're buffing elementals across the board. Now, when it comes to the nerfs, I'm not so sure about the Mama Bear nerf, because Mama Bear didn't used to be very good at all prior to Banana Slamma. Kind of weird to nerf it now, but I guess we'll have to see what they do to the Slamma. Going over to Dragons, makes sense to nerf the early game minions since they are way too strong compared to anything else, but I wonder how they're gonna nerf them, because the numbers on them are already pretty tight. Drakisat is obviously way too powerful right now, and I think it might become a tier 5 minion, and they might move the new Battlecry that's currently on tier 5 down to tier 4, and maybe we'll buff like +3 attack AoE. For Kaligos, once again, really weird nerf, since they are also nerfing Nadina, so I'm just expecting Kali to drop some stats. Now, I'm really happy to see Nadina finally being nerfed, the main offender for keeping dragons bad for such a long time, because Nadina is such a broken card. As soon as you make dragons just a little bit good, they are immediately broken, because Nadina is super broken. Now she's finally getting nerfed, and I think they're gonna turn her into Death Rattle, give Divine Shield to 3 friendly dragons, and then maybe the golden version is gonna give Divine Shield to 6. Other than that, Riff Reaper, Scarfin, and Radio Star are all insane cards if you can get them early on, so it makes sense to nerf them. Peggy, Smuggler, and Dealer are all getting nerfed. This is honestly a pretty massive nerf to APM Pirates. I wonder what they're gonna do with them. Probably just gonna drop some stats. Now, when it comes to Upbeat Duo, I'm expecting it to become a tier 5 minion or turn into Upbeat 3. Although, since Blizzard really doesn't like to mess with flavor, the card is called Upbeat Duo and it has 2 heads, they will probably just make it a 5-drop and don't change the Upbeat. And Radler, I honestly have no idea. Maybe they'll move it to tier 5. So with this, I think we covered all the changes. I can't wait to see what the game is gonna look like once these nerfs go live. See you all in the Battlegrounds. Have a good one. Bye!